about statistics and what you can find in game. Let me take a look here. So obviously you can see my game screen. If you go to view profile, top right here, you'll have some options to see statistics. Now, statistics, can't say that, or say that 3 times fast or something. Um, so the preset is it's set to lifetime and it's selected. I think all of the game types are normally selected. Um, I'm sure if you guys have been playing this a bit, maybe you utilize this, maybe not. I mean, there's sites that do a lot more digging, which I really like. You know, you got hot slogs, you got heroes profile. Oh, and just so you guys know, we're recording this on the 3rd of March of 2021, so obviously things change after this. You'll know why. Now, some of the statistics they have right now are pretty nice. It's just hard to kind of itemize certain things. Like, for example, they have generic information of all the maps in the middle. Then they have just general statistics over here on the right hand side. You know, average takedowns, total takedowns, um, kill, death, assist ratio, win rate, and traditionally, and games played overall. So traditionally, when Blizzard does their games, they're trying to keep players at a 50%. You know, obviously, if you're higher than that or lower than that, it's kind of reflective of, I guess, where they're trying to put you. Um, so we'll talk about a few things here. Let's see here. So with this, you can do win rate by roll or games by roll. That's just kind of nice. Never really messed around with that. That's good to know. And they also have the. Um, actually, I have no idea what that is. Oh, it's games one. I was like, what? So this is games total, I believe, and then this is win rate. So there's a handful of things that you can do, even though the data is limited, of ways you can leverage it to your advantage. So if you think about all the game types, you know, you have ARAM, you have versus AI. Um, you know, Hero League, Team League doesn't exist anymore, which is now Storm League. You have unranked and then quick match. So for example, let's say all you do right now is ARAM. This kind of gives you an idea, I guess, where my statistics are. I've never really looked at these before. So ARAM is good if like you're trying to learn. Well, if you're trying to get influence to other characters or forced to pick characters, you only get really 3, right? To choose from. And it kind of gives you the ability to just kind of mess around and just fight all the time, which is good for your micro, like your individual mechanics. Kind of be messy, I guess, if you never learned the character. I'm kind of curious where I stand on some of these, but you kind of get an idea. So that's where reflective of this. Now this is good to say, okay, well, you know, maybe there's something here the Rex are. Maybe I can lean into it if I like the character more. Um, as an example, let's see. They also have so just the preset statistics. They have highest win rate. They got, you know, most wins, most deaths, most kills, most assists. Um, so kill is kind of like, I want to say last hit in a sense, if I'm not mistaken. And then assist is like if you did damage to any part of the kill, and I could be wrong there. Apparently, I have a lot of assists on Lucio in ARAM. Interesting. Maybe there's something there for me. What is his win rate? I have 3 wins. Oh, well, that's not a lot. Highest win rate, 3 games for Lucio. Oh no, 5 games. Okay, interesting. And then obviously you can do it through the seasons, right? This is my lifetime, so if I were to look at this season for ARAM, played him 3 times. Seem to be doing pretty good with him in ARAM. Okay, so you kind of get the idea there. Now, let's say, and really it's just good for micro, right? Your individual mechanics. So as far as like getting a little bit better game for the feel, you know, if you go to quick match as an example, and I'm not gonna even talk about versus AI, that's just, you know, versus computers, but if you go to quick match, you can kind of see an idea there of, I'm actually just curious, like what my statistics are. I never looked at it. But you can kind of get an idea. Now, what's good about quick match is you get the reps to some degree, for trying to learn a certain character. Um, as far as not only mechanics but just your presence on a map, because the maps are bigger, things like that. So you can kind of leverage it that way. Like if you're just trying to get a lot of games in just for mechanics, but under somewhat of a live situation, then maybe you're doing, and maybe you just love quick match, which is perfectly fine. But you definitely want to kind of utilize it for that. And it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, obviously, like, hey, there's some maps that I'm better at it on, but at the same time, their compositions aren't always like in a game type thing. Like you're not always going to have the perfect composition in quick match. Sometimes it's really wonky and things like that. So if anything, you can just use these statistics of, hey, like I have a 76% win rate on Muradin over the course of my lifetime. Maybe there's something there that I can maybe do in a more competitive environment and kind of upscale that way. Now, let's talk about the next. You got Unranked is a drafting system. And then also you got Storm League, Hero League, and Team League if you were playing that long ago. But they're all drafting system too. So Unranked is how it sounds. I mean, they do have a ranking system-ish, I guess, on the back end, but it's not known to players. But it's a way to just practice in a competitive environment, but not really be for anything, for any points. It's just, kind of like quick match where you're just playing, or AMRAM where you're just playing. So we're using Muradin as an example. So like apparently I'm 4-0 in Unranked. I don't remember those games. I guess I played a handful of Unranked, but I don't remember most of these games. So this kind of gives you an idea, and this is a little bit better as far as like determining if you're in a draft situation for certain maps, things like that. You got a whole gambit of like maps, though. Not every single map that's in the map pool is going to be an unranked, and maybe they're reflecting that now. I can't remember. I haven't done it too much lately. The thing that's interesting I wish they would add is like if I were to select Muradin, it can tell me like my win rate on these maps, so I can kind of have an idea of like, hey, like I'm good with the character, but maybe sucky at the map as an example. Those would be good statistics for you to know, but obviously very limited. So the way that I would approach it in Unranked is like if you're playing a certain character, I don't know if I have any examples in Unranked. I guess we'll just use Garrosh. So been learning him in Garrosh in that environment. And it's just a matter of repetition or learning his mechanics, because there's a lot to know with him, a lot of things that can happen. But if I want to bring it to like a Storm League or even higher, I guess in the game there isn't anything higher than Storm League, but I basically bring it to a higher caliber. There's some work to do there, especially if I'm getting those percentages at that level, as an example. Yeah, I guess. So if I were to look at the maps, I guess in the middle here, it kind of gives me an idea of which ones I excel at and which ones I need help on. But then it's hard to say, right? Because in Unranked, you'll have like really, really awesome teams that are just trying to practice that as 5-man. But, sometimes if you're going by yourself or solo queuing, it's hard to determine who your competition is. But it kind of gives you an idea at least, right? So let's see, if I were to go to rank now, I spent a lot of my game time playing in these rank things, and I'm going to actually not just do Storm League, even though that's what's prevalent now, but I'm going to do Hero League and Team League, because I've been playing ranked for a bit in different forms. So let's see, Muradin. Should be kind of nice to have different drop-down buttons. Blizzard, if you want some ideas of how to do your stats, which I'm sure you have a ton of, let me know. Be happy to help. So Muradin, for me overall, I don't think I've even played him this season at all, really. Let's see. Oh yeah, so if I go to Muradin, I'm like, okay, well, if when I play a Muradin in an environment, it's like he's not really gonna help me climb. So if you're doing Storm League, usually what you're aiming for is 55 to 60%. I've heard that quoted multiple places by, lots of, I guess, HOTS analysts, if you want to call them that, or streamers or YouTubers or whatnot. Obviously, anything higher than that is going to be to your benefit. So, once you've kind of felt like you've gotten repetition, and I didn't do this, so I actually did not do well with with the repetition outside of game. Maybe a little, but probably not as much as I need to. So let's go all the way to the bottom here. So I've in a ranked environment. Let's see if we can get one where I'm really terrible that I've had a lot of games. So I've only played 5 games. Oh no, let's go Medivh. So Medivh in a ranked environment, I played 16 times. Like there's a 20% win rate. So if I'm using this as data to try to figure out like what do I do with this, well, number one, I can probably determine that I'm pretty bad at him in a competitive setting, or sucky, however you want to say it. But basically, if this is my rank, then I'm like, okay, maybe I just don't have a lot of repetition on him, right? So let's take a look. So have I played Medivh in quick match at all? Let's take a look. I'm gonna guess he's gonna be near the bottom. What was he? 18%, 16 games played, I think was the statistic. I'm looking for him. Okay, so maybe 29 games. So maybe I needed more reps as an example. But I think Medivh obviously is probably a bad example, especially if you're newer to the game, because there's so many things, and you know he helps like excel his team in a lot of different ways, but you're not going to always be able to see it on the damage, or maybe you will actually. Good Medivhs are phenomenal, like extremely feared in ring play if they're really, really good. But obviously I was lacking something, so I'm missing something. So I got to determine, like, is it maps that I'm on, which, you know, this doesn't really give the data for that, because there's no way to select him and see the maps come down here. It could be that. It could be like who I'm up against, and maybe I don't realize the matchups as well, because quick match really only gives you repetition, sort of. And that's on the character, but it doesn't really do it in a drafting environment. And most of you guys probably just play ARAM in quick match anyway. But if you're thinking about going up and things like that, I've posted some other videos. If you're scared to hear about what your teammates think, there's ways to kind of not hear them, which is maybe something I recommend you guys do if you're a little tentative of it. But yeah, so obviously I'm not that great with Medivh, so there's a learning curve that I'm missing from just playing him. So I can play him 1,000 games and I probably still won't do as well in a drafting environment, maybe because I'm like not completely aware of like his mechanics. So that's something I just need to look up and research a little bit more. And let's go to something a little bit more, let's see. So I got all the maybe not hard to play characters, but characters I have a hard time playing. Let's see, what were some of the easy characters that I talked about in other videos? I think Lily might have been one. I'm sure I played him a handful of times in ranked. Apparently I'm terrible at Lily, because maybe I haven't played Lily in ranked. Hold on. Let's see, did I miss her? Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm sure I've played Lily in ranked. Like, super shocked if I haven't played her. I think I played everyone in ranked. There's Vala. Well, Vala's got me at 50%. Alright, let's use her as an example. It's a pretty big pool. So, I played like 348 games. I don't know, she's probably, yeah, one of my higher characters that I played. But it doesn't reflect that in the win rate. So, again, like if I wanted to climb, like Vala's just gonna, it's like a coin flip. I could win or not. I think if I wanted to climb, there's something more that I have to learn. You know, maybe I wasn't macroing well or not seeing that. And a lot of the games on Vala, I played like super early when I was learning the game. And there's ways, obviously, you can swing it to your favor in different ranks. And there's a lot of other videos out there. Never done one. I'm not an expert in that stuff, but if I were just to look at the statistics here, I'm just like, okay, so Vala, even though I have a lot of games under her, I'm not playing her right or not doing well with the character. Now, here's the thing, like if you love the character, then pour a lot of time into it to learn how to play them better and kind of where they excel and don't. But if I were to look at it from a number standpoint, if I wanted to rank up, like it's not above 55%, so it might not be the best use of time if I'm trying to like rank up, right? So other characters that I've played a lot of, like Asmoden, you know, just to push down the middle Asmoden or something. You know, I've had enough success, but not enough to really, you know, switch the meter, right? Same thing with Zeratul. You know, I played 166 games. I might try to pick him up again here just because I ran into some information where he looks super awesome and fun. and but obviously there's some things that I need to change, and maybe I just need to do attacks better with him as an example. Now, if I were just to strictly go for the numbers for ranking up, I guess anywhere close to 55% and up would, ideally. Oh, there's Lily. Finally found her. Probably something I should prioritize, right? Because I mean, it's a slow grind sometimes, and there's some players like maybe you just naturally, innately get the game and you just rank up really fast. At some point, you're going to reach a plateau. Even if you go all the way to Grandmaster, I'm only gold. I can only hope one day I reach that point. But the older I get, it gets further and further away from me. But basically, if you're as close to 55% as much as possible, and you can kind of leverage that. So Vikings is close, arguably. Lily is close, arguably. Blaze everyone else up. Might be something to be like, hey, you know what? These guys might not be a bad idea if I'm trying to rank up. Maybe I should prioritize these characters. I didn't realize I played that many games on Orphea. It's crazy. I should look at my own statistics, actually. But just something to consider, and then obviously if you do, league play, like NGS or Heroes Launch, which I've talked about in the past before. Holy cow, Samuro on ranked games? Maybe I need to look at something here. That's kind of nuts. And Kira, wow. Kerosene, what the? I should look at my own statistics, people. But take a look. It'd be interesting to find. Now, if we want to look at like maps and stuff like that, it's so generalized, it's hard to determine. But if anything, there might be something there too. Like maybe fundamentals of the map or the map mechanics you're not getting as well. So, for example, Haunted Mines. I missed that map. I loved it. Both of them. Apparently, Braxis I do better on. All the maps, actually. Let's see. So yeah, so let's go to the bottom of the actual ranked map. Well, this is Lifetime. No wonder I'm so confused. Wait, when was Blackheart's Bay ranked? Maybe this is just normal, like all of the maps. That sucks. Let's see if it changes anything. No, it doesn't. Okay, well, oh no, it does. It does. Okay. I don't know. I'm apparently not even making sense to myself tonight. Okay, so if I were just to do Stormlink, let's just do that as an example. That'd be less confusing. Or these are the maps right now that are that we've played in the poll. Tomb of the Spider Queen, apparently I'm terrible at, which I don't feel like that way in League play. It feels like it's one of our stronger maps. Dragonshire, probably I'm terrible at, and Stormlink for some reason. Then you can just kind of get the idea. So, the areas of opportunity of learning the basics of the map might be here. Like maybe if, like, man, I'm terrible at Tomb. Like, what am I doing or not doing? It's something to kind of analyze. Now, again, I mentioned Heroes Lounge, Hot's Logs and Heroes Profile earlier. And they're going to have a lot more statistics and things like that going on, but just kind of give you an idea. And again, it's in game, and I can only hope that maybe one day they'll add more statistics, because they have a ton of it, ton of stuff, ton of information, but we just have these little bits and pieces. So hopefully that helps with the game playing. You guys have a good one. Stay safe and healthy. See you out there. If you guys play me, give me a shout out. Talk to you guys later. Take care.